you waiting, huh?
Howdy folks, Seskinator11 here, and this is my Destiny 2 Vault of Glass entrance, all classes, done solo flawlessly in Season of the Risen. Now the first thing you're going to see here is the Void 3.0 subclass, and all the changes. The most important thing that you're going to see is me changing the duration of invisibility, and that's a very important perk to equip in one of the subclasses, because what this does is it pairs well with Rat King, and it increases the duration that you're going to be invisible once you kill an enemy with Rat King. So definitely use that to your advantage, as you can see. So the first class that we're going to use is the Titan subclass, and Titans are amazing in Void now, with Void 3.0 and this in Witch Queen and the brand new season. It's very exciting. So we're going to move to the first plate here, and the mechanics of this encounter are quite simple. You're going to prevent these minotaurs that spawn in from reaching the plate and stealing it. As you can see in the bottom left, the Vex are stealing the plate. That's basically what it's saying in layman's terms. So as soon as this minotaur pops in, you're going to destroy his face. And you're going to do so with a machine gun. I find it easiest to do it with a machine gun. Right to his face right there, and you're immediately going to go for the next minotaur that's on this plate. Once you see the plate glowing blue like this, as I'm invisible, it'll flash like that, and as soon as it flashes you can hop right off and then go for the next minotaur spawn, which is all the time it's going to be spawning in right there. So go for the face, go for the next kill with Rat King, keep proccing that invisibility, and look at the timer on the invisibility. It's really nice. It's about, I think it's about 7 or 8 seconds or something like that. So with that duration increase in Void 3.0, you're going to find that it's much easier to remain invisible in this encounter, especially if you're doing it solo like I am, like a crazy bastard. So here we go, we're going for the plate, we're going to steal it. So again, once you steal this plate, any other enemies that hop in there, even the minotaurs from the other plates, if they touch a different plate that's not theirs, it's not going to activate it. It's not going to turn it red. So you don't have to worry about that at all, folks. But yeah, again, this is mainly for the people that don't have a full raid team at their disposal every single time they try this every week. Because even when Witch Queen dropped, my main worry with this was you wouldn't get 5 spoils per encounter. I thought they would decrease it to 3 spoils per encounter, but I was wrong. They kept 5 spoils, so you can effectively get 10 spoils per character, which nets you 30 spoils each week from just doing this first encounter, along with getting the hidden chest afterwards, which is really cool. So I know some people like Esoteric, and again, he is freaking amazing, that guy. So watch his videos more than mine. He is freaking awesome. He does a lot of solo flawless challenge runs. He does a lot of he plays around with a lot of builds and stuff like that. He inspires me a lot with Destiny 2. So I get a lot of the tech from his videos, and I basically repeat it in mine. So usually what you do here is keep all 3 minotaurs alive and just with their faces destroyed, and so that way they're in the constant aggro state and they're just going after you rather than going for the plates. But instead of just keeping the 3rd one alive, I just go and kill him and I keep running in circles, because I found that that was much easier, especially in this segment over here where you have the most cover from those freaking cannons. And those cannons can sometimes one-shot you if your resilience is really low, so be careful, folks. But yeah, here I go for the next Minotaur. I immediately proc Rat King's invisibility, and I move right over to this. And there you go. That's the Titan subclass Vogue entrance encounter completed. And be sure, folks, that once you do take all 3 plates, keep constantly looking over at the tower and its construction, and make sure that it is actually building upwards. So that way, you know it's making progress, you know that what you're doing isn't in vain, and you can move forward with this encounter and complete it effectively. So now we're moving on to my favorite subclass in this entire season, I think, especially with Void 3.0, which is the Warlock subclass. So, folks, what you're going to see here is Void 3.0. Again, none of this stuff really does matter. The most important thing that you have here, I believe, is the fragment. That is just the increase in invisibility. That's really all you need to worry about. Have Rat King, have its catalyst, have a Void fusion rifle, and have a machine gun. As you can see here, I have the fusion rifle likely suspect, which comes with the Witch Queen campaign. And I also have corrective measure, which drops from this raid, actually, from the Vault of Glass raid, if you do it fully. But you can effectively use any machine gun. I recommend bringing a Void machine gun or a Void fusion rifle, which takes care of the Minotaurs very quickly. And the machine gun is effectively really good against the heads for the Minotaurs to break them fast. So definitely bring weapons like that. If you find that other weapons work better, definitely try that out too. If you find that something else does, like a fusion rifle or whatnot, if that's more comfortable for you for the head popping to make them damaged, go for it. But I find that machine guns definitely work better. So yeah, this is the Warlock subclass. This is, again, I'm using the same weapons, so I don't want people to feel limited by what they have unlocked, what they don't have unlocked. The biggest struggle will probably be getting Rat King, which you can buy from the kiosk in the tower right now, and the catalyst can drop from any of the ritual playlist activities. But yeah, folks, I do want to stress that Destiny 2 is definitely a multiplayer game. Yes, you can do a lot of things solo. You can do a lot of things solo flawlessly, like the dungeons, like some of the raid encounters, as you can see here. But at the end of the day, Destiny 2 is a multiplayer game. So you're going to want to have either friends with you or do an LFG to get certain achievements done, to get certain loot items in the game. But sometimes it's just not as easy to find people like that, and a lot of people are drawn away from the LFG groups, which I totally understand. Back when I was playing on PlayStation 4, right now I'm playing on PC, the Destiny 2 community for the LFG groups on PS4 at least was a horrible experience. But luckily, with crossplay, it allowed me to actually play with a bunch of my friends on PC, which is amazing, and I keep learning more and more about the people that are available to me right now, which is great, and I think that's awesome to bring the Destiny 2 community together. If people want to play on Xbox, people want to play on PS4, that's all they have access to. I completely understand, and that's the best way of going about it. It's all about accessibility with video games and what you can do. And it's really surprising how some new games these days don't even have crossplay, and I think that should be a requirement going forward. But anyway, folks, you can see me doing the same exact pattern that I've been doing on my Titan with my Warlock right now. But yeah, keep kiting back and forth, learn the enemy patterns, and as you do it more and more, as you practice, this becomes way easier. You start to learn what the enemies do, you start to learn how they move, where they target, as you go invisible. They tend to shoot more at the last known location, where you go invisible. Kind of similar to how in the latest Splinter Cell, how whenever you get spotted by Sam Fisher, I almost wish they would put like an outline where your last character was. That would be much better, but alas, this is a first-person shooter, not a third-person stealth action encounter, so alas. But yeah, folks, a lot of people in the Destiny 2 community will tell you can't do something. A lot of them will discourage you, a lot of people will tell you you're not good enough, or to get good, or put in the time, or whatnot. Really, the only thing you gotta do is put in the time. You gotta put in the time, you have to practice, you have to do the best you can, learn the mechanics, learn the weapons, and don't listen to anybody. If anyone's toxic to you in this community, don't listen to them. Because they're purely doing that just to put you down, or they might have something wrong with themselves, and thus they're throwing it out on another person. They're taking that out on another person, and that's typically what people do. Because why the hell would somebody do that in the first place if they weren't hurting themselves? They want to put that on other people. So, in my full-time job, I work as a counselor, You know, I talk with a lot of people every day, and one of the ways that I come down from the day is sometimes I dab in some video games. And right now, I fell into the Destiny 2 hole. I am very much enticed with this game right now. I'm wrapped in with all the looting, all the gathering, all the grinding that is this game. And I'm starting to feel it at the beginning of this expansion, especially after last season, Season of the Lost, if you're familiar. That season was extended because they were working on this expansion and they wanted to do a good job, and it showed. It really did show. The campaign for this expansion was freaking amazing, first of all. It had diverse missions. It didn't feel redundant. It didn't feel tedious, just like Beyond Light, in my opinion. Beyond Light was very tedious. Shadowkeep was even worse. Apart from the dungeon that they added to Shadowkeep, the Pit of Heresy, that was one of the coolest dungeons. Apart from that, in the expansion, the campaign itself was absolutely atrocious, in my opinion, of course. But yeah, this is the final class. We're playing with Hunter right now. Hunters they're a work of art, Hunters. A lot of people give them shit, a lot of people hate them. I know they're more of a PvP class, but Hunters are pretty amazing, if you think about it. And at the beginning of Destiny 2, when I first started, all I played with was a Titan. I was too lazy. I didn't want to try out the other classes. I didn't want to try Warlock. I didn't want to try Hunter, but I was doing myself a disservice. So during Season of the Lost, since it was so long, I was able to beef up my Warlock, beef up my Hunter class, get them all set and caught up with the game, as I did with my Titan. And I ended up solo flawlessing most of the dungeons on my Hunter because of the invisibility tech. And it was freaking amazing. I had no idea you could do that with a Hunter. I had no idea it had so many mechanics that you could exploit, so many things that you could do. It was so much fun. And I didn't do any of the dungeons with my Titan. And I started with a Titan, and Titans will always be near and dear to my heart because that was the class I started with. But effectively, every class has something to bring to this game. You need all the classes in a solid raid team to do as much damage as you can. No one class is better than the other. And as many people say that one class is better, that's just how the community is, and, you know, you can ignore them because every class has something to bring. But yeah, folks, I'm really grateful, first of all, for the crossplay because, you know, I have a group of friends that I usually play with in this game, and it's been a lot of fun playing with them and doing a lot of challenging activities such as Grandmasters and, you know, the occasional raid when we can all get together, because I know a couple people in our group are on UK time versus USA time, and the time change is atrocious, and it gets very difficult to schedule things, even on the weekends. But yeah, it is a lot of fun, folks. So it's good to play with one another. It's good to, you know, have some fun, get away from the stress that is life. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world these days, especially political things. You know, COVID's been happening for over 2 years now, and there's no end in sight, right? You know, also with the political situation with Russia and Ukraine, it's devastating. So sometimes we need to get away a little bit and take our minds off of things. And one of the best ways of doing that is to do something constructive, or, you know, do something fun, such as playing video games. And that's totally fine, folks. And as I tell my clients, you know, in counseling, I tell them too much of one thing is never good. You don't want to do too much of one thing. And that is work included, especially if it's work that is overly draining, it burns you out, you know, it really zaps you of your energy. You want to have a good balance. And, I mean, that, in my opinion, is the key to happiness. You know, you have family you want to spend time with at the end of the day. You also have your own personal hobbies. You do that. It's all healthy for you. Well, and that concludes the Hunter segment of this. And that's the 3 runs, all solo flawless, without dying, and the chests that come with it. But yeah, folks, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you doing this and taking the time to watch me. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, evening, or work day. You all take care now.